Welcome to Classic Heart, the BMW Group Classic Podcast. This is JP, and today we are joined by Timo Schnee, founder of Schnee Autosport, host of the podcast Benzingespräche, and co-creator of Unterholz, a car culture event.
This car is the most honest car you ever see.
It's been a dream ever since I've had it.
The first time I heard that engine screaming, I thought, I gotta have one of those.
It's the joy of driving.
What's great about a BMW Classic is the community that surrounds it.
When you listen to that, that's why we're here.
Timo, your journey from a nickname to a recognized brand in car culture is quite unique, I have to say. Could you tell us more about Schnee? How this all came together?
Yeah, glad to be here, JP. And
sorry, of course, welcome.
Okay.
I'm so curious.
It's okay. It's absolutely okay. From my nickname to the so-called lifestyle brand is a funny story because it started all with my second BMW I owned. It was a 1 Series Coupe with the 2-liter diesel B-turbo engine, and I used to drive it on quarter-mile racing, so semi-professional, not competitive.
Really?
And really. And there was once, like in the form you had to fill out to start at the event, you can enter a team name. And
yes.
I filled out with Schnee Autosport, and that was it all. So that was just out of a joke. And it came like the name of the game. So
yes.
It started it all, yeah.
Mega. But tell me, this is very interesting. So did you do this races in Germany? Is there a scene for it?
Yes.
Really?
There is a big scene for it. The 2-liter diesel engine was not so common to race it on a quarter mile. And I tried to do everything to the car. So with water methanol injection at the end. And it was tremendous fast at on the 10-second way, like on the quarter mile. So,
yeah.
And there's a big scene. It was included in a BMW car event also, and it is in Eastern Germany, in Eisenach. Maybe you heard of it.
I indeed heard about the event, and also I would like to point out that Eisenach plays a very important role in the BMW history, because it was in Eisenach when the first BMW ever, the 3/15, rode off the assembly line. Today, it's still part of the BMW group, even though it's the smallest of the plants in between the group. But it's very important for tool making. And the festival you're referring to, Timo, is taking place at the airport Eisenach-Kindl. But does it also celebrate this BMW heritage?
Yes, of course. It was included in the event. So, and for the first time, I was just there, and a friend of me asked, "Do you want to go quarter mile racing? You can do that here for like $15." And I said, "Oh, let's do it." And I made, I think in the first attempt, I was in like on 50 cars in my class, the 2-liter diesel engine class. I was like second in just one try.
Fantastic.
There was like 5 years I did it in a row, every time on this specific event. And I did it I think it was 3 times, the hat trick, so-called. I was first place in 2015, 16, and 17. So it was very cool. I love that car.
But tell me, why did you choose a BMW for this?
My first BMW was a 1 Series E87.
Yes.
And then came, I think it was 2009, 2010, there came the coupe of it out. And I loved that car so much from the design.
Yeah.
And that was my dream. So and I have a long route to my work. I drive 240 kilometers every day. And
Really?
I needed a diesel. Yeah, really. I drive to the Frankfurt airport. So, and I live in the Eifel region. So it's like 120 kilometers. And so I decided something in between sporty and looking like really cool and efficient. So there was the 2-liter B-turbo engine it was so efficient and so fast, because I think back in the days it had 204 horsepower. That was tremendous for the 2-liter diesel engine.
At that time, of course, a bit former, also the Pumpe-Düse from Volkswagen, all this kind of stuff was very amazing and very great drive. But with this engine and the combination of engine and car, BMW killed everything, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
really fantastic. And I always loved the 1 Series, the hatchback, also the coupe, but the hatchback was really like a game changer. It changed completely my automotive interest in a way, as for the daily driving. But what I also like, it was destiny that you become a BMW fanatic for one reason, because you have an aviation background and BMW has also an aviation background, because that's where the brand was established from.
Yeah,
so what
true.
did you do in aviation, if I may ask?
I'm maintenance mechanic, actually. I do maintenance for aircrafts, and like everything you can imagine what can be broken on an aircraft, I fix it. So, or I try to fix it. Let's say that.
Okay, that's amazing.
I love my job. It's for me. It's also like a destiny to have it. And yeah.
And would you say that your knowledge about aviation mechanics and engineering has helped you also to make your cars lighter and better?
Obviously, like when you use like aerodynamic parts or something, you can tell that like do not use that and that because it produces too much drag and everything. Yeah, it helps you. It helps you sometimes. Yeah.
I just read a fantastic book about the BMW 328mm nicknamed Bügelfalter, which was, of course, the 328, always small engines, and they were racing in endurance races against the much powerful cars from Mercedes and things like this. And their knowledge of aviation helped them to make the performance weight of the car much, much better than all the competition. And I really love that. So, and everyone who is a BMW enthusiast and would like to understand where BMW sportiness derives from, really look into the racing history from the late 30s until the 50s, and then, of course, jump into the big ones with M1 and others. But that's just a side note. Timo, let's speak more about your BMW experiences. You're a BMW enthusiast. How did it all start?
I think it started with my mom's car. She loved fast cars. And when I was 6 or 7 years old, she owned a B3 Alpina, an E30.
Cool mom.
Yeah, I love that car. It was blue. It was a touring, so it was very nice.
Even better.
And, I remembered absolutely going with my mom and my family and my dad and my 2 sisters to a fun bath, like 30 minutes from our hometown.
Yeah.
And when we drove back, I had to sit in the middle of that B3 Alpina next to my sisters. And I was tired, but I was exhausted and had a good day. And I looked always on the dashboard and I saw that amber and I slept all in about that. So, and that calmy feeling, that was stuck in me.
Nice.
Just the amber dashboard.
Yeah.
It has to bring me back to the first BMW I bought at my 1 Series. I went to the dealer because it was my first car. And I was sitting in that car and the salesman came to me and said, you can switch it on. And there was something about the dashboard, the color, the amber, that calmed me down.
I mean, this shows also the importance of not only performance, you have to go also into the detail. This is what I love. If you speak with people that work with BMW, especially to the design department, and the level of love for the detail, I mean, this is for sure with other brands as well, but it's amazing how they really think everything through, and everything is still very focused on the driver, which I really like as well, and the interior. And I agree, the simplicity of the dashboard has been a BMW USP and a unique selling point for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Right?
100%, yeah.
In the beginning, we learned how the name Van der Schnee Autosport came together, just by a little coincidence, I would say.
Yeah.
But we mentioned the podcast, which is called Benzingespräche, which is like petrol talks. But what is Unterholz?
Unhols is it is a car meet that we like do every year in like a small area here in the Eifel region, and it's a forest you can rent for maybe a wedding, or like they have medieval markets there also.
Okay.
And we came together with friends and like asked to rent it for like a car show, and it's not big. It's a thing that it's not like 200 cars or something. We can only place into the forest like 80 cars. But additional to that, I try to decorate the whole forest like my car spot, like with old vintage furniture and everything, and like 1.6 kilometers of light bulbs and everything. Like the concept behind it is just doing a car show, or doing a car show that's not only about cars, it's about the people and the stories behind the cars.
Do you have every year a theme, or is it always an open theme? Or
it's always open. It's always open between like old classic cars and hypercars. We had everything there. Back in the last 3 times, we we called it the Oldtimer Wiese, what means like the Oldtimer Field, just because we had so hard classic cars that we were not able to get them into the forest, because sometimes you have just like a more modified car, and like we had a run of people want to go there. But yeah, we opened that, so that place has a little bit theme, but generally it's open to all, and you have to apply for it. And always, what I always recommend is the people can send us pictures, obviously, and talk about a little bit about the cars. But I like it when they tell a story, and just a small, like 5 lines of a small story of the car, and I like that because I want that people come there, go with the car there, and like leave as a friend with other friends.
I think that's the spirit. I really like it, and of course, Eifel is not only a wonderful place to drive because you have wonderful roads in the Eifel.
Yeah,
you have, of course, famous racetracks and everything, but they are very car-related people. I have the feeling because everyone I meet from the Eifel has like the car blood. Part of their DNA is definitely cars. So, is there a website or how do you apply for Unterholz?
Unterholz-event.de.
And if I don't have a car, can I also join?
Absolutely. We have catering. For my point of like a child that's I'm raised in a hotel. My parents own the hotel. I like to be like a what is it called? Like
to be a good host. And with the atmosphere you are creating, you seem to be a perfect host. So the next Unterholz, or English Undergrowth Festival, when will it take place?
26th of July.
Nice. So everyone who would bring your BMWs or other classic cars and some modified cars and apply for it with a little story, and Timo will get back to you. Timo, we spoke a bit about community, but how important is the community to you?
I was always a person who not is able to be happy be alone. I like to talk. I like to have people around me. Always like when friends come over. I like to have a house full packed of people, and then I feel comfortable. So for me, the community, that's so heartwarming for me, and I like that.
Yeah. You just mentioned you grew up in a hotel, so you saw many people. I think it's also the social skills of yours.
Yeah.
But the mechanical side, when did you find out that you would love to do something mechanical or engineering?
Oh, my dad would love that story. He gave me for I think it was my 6th birthday or 5th birthday, he presented me walkie-talkies. It was like in the mid-90s, it was a big deal to have walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
And I had nothing better to do to disassemble these things completely. And I tried to make an alarm system for my grandma's house. And my dad came back to the house and to my room, and he said, "What did you do, Timo?" I disassembled them all. This was so.
I love it.
He was mad at me for a long time for that.
Obviously, but I mean, the outcome was very, very good. I mean, being an engineer in the aviation world is something very special. And then the cars. When did cars were part of your life?
When you live into the Eifel region or like close to the Nürburgring, you've been there as a kid, and then you get catched or not. So I got catched when I was there and like watched races with my dad, like in the 90s in the golden area of touring cars. So I saw that cars literally driving, and I was absolutely catched. And then my grandfather from my father's side was also a big car guy. He had a book back in the days with every car he owned. And he owned like literally, when I was a child, it was for me like 1,000 cars or something.
Yeah.
So my mom liked cars, my grandfather, my dad also liked cars.
Yeah.
It's a family thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then comes the BMW, the 1 Series diesel, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then the Coupe. So, and we just mentioned at the beginning. So the Coupe was quite modified.
Oh, back in the days, there was BMW Performance. Before there was M Performance, and I was absolutely addicted to it. I saw it once on a car fair at the Nürburgring, and I made my goal to have the car completely converted to BMW Performance parts. Yes. And I owned literally every performance part I assembled to the car, including the seats. It was perfect. And yeah, TÜV was so not that problem because it's OEM parts. It makes it much more easier. So that was absolutely... It was a tremendous looking car, and everything I did to the engine was also like approved by TÜV, so I kept an eye on it. Yeah. But the big deal and what the most people know about me is that car was absolutely finished, and it got retired from quarter mile racing. I said, I just use it as a daily driver, and then it got stolen.
No.
Yeah, in front of my house, like it was never seen again. 2019, yeah.
It just showed that the car was too much good looking and too well performing. So
too bad.
No, that's a shame. I'm sorry to hear that.
No, that's okay.
That's bad.
It brought me to the classic car, so that was the deal. I said, I want to own an old car because no one want to steal it, maybe.
So, I mean, you're super young, but is there something you dream of, like the one thing you want to do or you want to own or you want to convert your BMW to or anything?
Yeah, I think two things. The first thing about the 1 Series was always, I said, when the next time I will buy a 1 Series, it has to be an M Coupe. So, prices and like I try to find one, but it's not that easy, especially with that special M models and like that shortly built cars because there are not a lot of them. I think just 5,000-6,000 or something.
Yeah.
And the second thing is
Tim just sold his, you know.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Schnee 150 was also a guest in our podcast, and we had a lengthy conversation about his love for the 1M Coupe. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, but then there's a second thing that came like back in the years up, and I have a special certain kind of car from BMW that I love really, and I'm known about it. It's the 318 IS Class 2, the homologation model from '94.
Wow.
And now
that's very special.
Yeah, now I own 4 of them and every car in Germany that was delivered. And I try to get every color. So there's just Boston Green left. And like point of that podcast, I'm bidding on one in Italy. But Alpine White, there were only 16 built. So that will be hard.
Difficult,
but that's the thing I will like, maybe having every color. So.
Yeah, I mean, we will all have a look out for this. Yeah. So where is the limit then, Timo?
That's a good question. I owned before, like the Class 2s, the 3 ones that I bought additional to my first one. I owned the E43. It was just here in that Eifel region, you have often like old people that try to sell the car. And because of the podcast, it's always like coming in influence with different cars I can buy or not. And so the E33, I sold it like last year, I think, and just had it for 1 year, just standing there. And so there is no limit for me, like with things like cars. I have always a new idea.
Yeah, no, for sure you have. Definitely. I'm just waiting for a aircraft-inspired BMW, let's say an E30 convertible aircraft-inspired. That would be my next goal for you.
Okay.
Your passion for driving is also expressed in your company's claim, right?
Yeah.
What's the claim again?
We burn fuel with love.
What a nice statement is that. So, Timo, we have a little thing. It's called the pit stop. And the pit stop are short questions, this or that. I would like you to answer quite quickly because it shows sometimes a bit of personality.
Okay.
So, here comes the pit stop for Timo Schnee. Let's go. Timeless design or cutting-edge innovation?
Timeless design.
Sporty agility or luxurious comfort?
Sporty agility.
Black or colorful?
Colorful.
Mint condition or patina with history?
Ooh. Patina with history, meanwhile, yeah.
I think I know the answer of the next one. Customization or factory perfection?
Customization.
Driving alone or with passengers?
Passengers.
Car sharing or owning your own vehicle only?
Owning your own vehicle only.
Road trip or racetrack?
Road trip.
BMW M Performance or a classic BMW?
Classic BMW.
Autobahn or wounding Eifel country road?
Wounding Eifel country road, obviously.
I mean, I need to strike this question, but I realize still. Manual transmission or automatic?
Manual, of course.
Petrol or diesel?
Petrol.
Diesel or electric?
Diesel.
Electric or no car?
No car.
Inline 6 or V8?
4-cylinder? No, inline 6 then, yeah.
Auction house or dealer?
Auction house.
Sell or keep?
Keep.
Classic road trip playlist on or just the sound of the engine?
Playlist.
Thank you very much. That was the pit stop. So let's jump into just a few one.
Okay.
You said black or colorful. How important are colors to cars for you?
I think it's the most important. It's like wheels. It makes the car. Like color and wheels do the whole car. I mean, you can have like a not so well designed car, but if the color and the wheels are right, it can make the whole difference. So I think it was also like a little bit against my dad because he always liked cars, and I was like back in the days I like colorful cars, and I love red cars.
Yeah,
I just own one, but I love red cars. So colorful is important.
I think from your dad's generation, I think it's a bit like this also. You know, I can sell the black car much better than a colorful car.
Exactly. Exactly. My dad has always a quote. He said, "You can buy a car in every color as long as it's black."
Your response must be black is not a color.
Yeah, that's true.
And where you were thinking a bit longer was mint condition or patina with history. So I mean. Yeah. What is it?
I have my first 389 S-Class 2. I brought it to absolutely mint condition, whole new paint job, everything. Like no screw was left behind. So the engine was completely rebuilt with independent throttle body system, everything, and the car is absolutely perfect. But it turns out that when you drive it, and for especially like the paint job is like 1 week ago or something, you drive it like you drive on, in Germany we call it on raw eggs. Like, oh no, stone chip there. Oh no, and I didn't like it. As late as at least when I drive to Como last year, I was a little bit like, okay, let's give it just 800 kilometers there, and the car will not be broken down. It will have scratches, dings, and dents and everything, but it tells a history about it. And the last car I bought is Alaskan Blue 318 S-Class 2, and it has harsh patina. So it has really like the clear coat is coming a little bit off this and there, and it has dings, dents. It was repainted not properly, a little bit rust there. And I love to drive that car because it tells so much story. It is like the pre-owner owned it for 27 years, and he tried to get it, held it in a good condition. And so I decided to go to Como this year with that car. So I'm a little bit curious because it's not that perfect that usually the car's been there, but I like that the car has that history. And so I gained a lot of love for patina now.
Yeah, I understand that. Now you drive the car with ease.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just have fun with it.
Yeah.
What does customizing a car mean to you? Is it like expression of your personality? Or would that be too wide, too big?
That's too big. I think it's too big. I'm more that the OEM guy I mean, the 318 S-Class 2 things, they're coming with that spoiler parts and BMW Motorsport aerodynamics, so it's very hard to find that parts, and so it's for me a little bit like a hunt for the goal, for the perfection. Like when I modify things, then I do it always more technically, like making the car better driving, giving me more information, like putting maybe like into the dashboard an oil temperature thing, what was not there before or something. Not that it doesn't look like not OEM. So I try to keep it like original as it can be. Like with my radios, like I always use the original Bavaria Reverse 3 or something, cassette radios, because I cannot like give it over my heart to put there like a JVC or something in. And that's, I think personalizing, slightly.
In the pit stop, you decided on road trip instead of highway. So what's your idea of a perfect road trip?
My perfect road trip, and it's a special place for me, would be from Monterey in California down to Los Angeles with my best friend Stefan. Maybe some people know Ortega Highway, and it's so cool, things to drive. That would be my absolutely, my favorite road trip.
We haven't mentioned Stefan here, but he plays a big role in all the things you do, because you're doing all these things together. How do you guys met?
Oh, through cars. There was like back in the days there was a car spot into one of the hill serpentines here in the Eifel. There was a car spot for just guys meeting there up, just talking, have a cigarette or something. And I met Stefan there, and it's like 15 years ago. He's a professional photographer, and he started to all that video stuff with me together, to doing vlogs and everything. So we started it all. And started Cars and Coffees because he joined me for once on a California trip, and then we said we have to bring that Cars and Coffee stuff to Germany.
Very nice. The final question of this podcast for me is, what is the one song that will be on every playlist you listen to when you're driving?
Scatishiri, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Nice.
I think it was one of the first songs I heard when I was driving, and I'm a big Chili Peppers fan, and that's one of the songs that give me that road trip feeling. 100%.
I love that one.
Yeah.
And I hope that you have the chance, Timo, to listen to this for hours and hours in one of your beloved cars and the cars you like. We like to hear more about even more than 200 episodes of Benzingespräche and of many, many Unterholz to come, and have a little reflection on our podcast when we talk and see each other in person at Lake Como. Thank you very much for joining us today. It was a real pleasure, and it's really, I feel the energy. You're absolutely cool chap. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Obviously. Thank you so much. This was Timo. And of course, you should also listen to all our former guests and episodes of this podcast, because there were the same passionate people like Timo. And if you do us a favor, just hit the subscribe button, then you don't miss any of the future episodes. That would be returned in much love, I would say. Also, if you have an idea who we should invite to this podcast, please let us know. You find all the contact possibilities in the show notes. And also, this podcast obviously is not possible without a great team behind it. So thank you very much, Federico von Königsweit, our editor. Thank you, Markus from Scenario Studio in Munich. And of course, our producer who holds all the ends together, Robin Zeiser. Thank you very much for all of you to make this possible. And of course, Timo, thank you very much for spending time with us and sharing your personal BMW lifetime story. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.